So hi, I'm back with another video, and India Irie, I Am Not My Hair is the perfect song to play for what I'm about to discuss today. So what happened was, I was in this Facebook group and someone posted this article. This black woman, I think she lives in the Bahamas, and basically her employers sent her back home and told her basically, unless you change your natural hair, you cannot come back to work. So now she had her natural hair up in a puff, which is very popular hairstyle in the natural hair community because it's quick and simple. It takes less than 2 minutes to do it, really, unless you decide to use some gel or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, in the Caribbean, they're sending people home, where it's majority in Bahamas, the majority of people who live there are black, and yet they're still doing this nonsense. I expect white majority countries to be sending black people home for the natural hair, but when you live in a country where the majority of the population is actually black, it is highly unusual. I cannot believe this. It truly confused me to be perpetrating these ridiculous notions that your natural hair is not acceptable, your natural hair does not look good, your natural hair is ugly, it's wild, it's untamable, all these kind of things that we have to hear on a day-to-day basis. I'm actually not surprised that people decide to relax their hair. I'm actually not, because when you think about it, yeah, some people actually conforming to society standards that say if you have natural hair, your hair does not look good. So basically what you need to do is relax it, and then your hair is more presentable. You can go to work with your hair like that, and nobody's really going to tell you anything, to be honest. It's complete madness. A majority of black countries saying that you need to go home and change your hair, basically either to put a weave in or to relax it, and then you can come back to work, even though it's in a puff, which is a nice, neat hairstyle. Like, what is this? What is this? I mean, since slavery, we've been hearing constantly that natural hair is not good. I mean, called nappy and niggerish and all this kind of stuff. Now, I don't use the word nigger, but it just had to be said in that context, you know? It just had to be said in that context anyway, so you can get the point across that I'm making. But for God's sake, I've never heard of this before, ever, of a majority black country doing the exact same, discriminating against other black people for how they choose to wear their hair. I've never heard this before in my entire life. So it just shows you the impact that white supremacy has, and the hold it has in all countries across the world. Now, I know people are trying to deny it and say, oh, it's not nothing, oppression doesn't exist, racism is in your mind, slavery never happened. That's for another day, yeah. A lot of people are on this slavery never happened thing, so yeah, you're good, innit? But anyway, as I was saying, white supremacy has such a hold on every single country on earth that now majority of black countries are doing the exact same thing that their white counterparts are doing. And it's making me think it's 2017 and these things are still happening, and I'm questioning, is this going to continue to happen when we have children? Are they going to have to go through the same things, even if you're raising them back home in the Caribbean? Are they going to have to deal with the same things? But then saying that, quite a few countries in the Caribbean are quite, are quite forward thinking and not as backwards. I mean, I just came back from Barbados in August. I was there for 2 weeks, and you see the women with natural hair, they're literally everywhere. They've got wearing their hair in sister locks, normal dreadlocks, mini locks. They've got their hairs in puffs, twist outs, TWAs, aka teeny weeny afros, everything. And of course you got the braids and the weaves and the wigs and everything. And yeah, of course you got the women who wear their hair in relaxers, because some people just will never change, and to be fair, it's up to them. You can do what you choose to do with your hair, but I'm loving the fact that I go over there and I'm seeing more women rocking their natural hair, and it's not women who are vacationing or rocking their natural hair over there. It's women who live there that are now comfortable enough to wear their hair natural, and this is a beautiful thing. Because for years in the Caribbean it used to just be relaxer, and now, as you can see, things are changing, things are progressing. I don't see it as a trend. A lot of people are saying that people are just having their hair natural just to be part of a trend. I disagree with that entirely. It's not a trend. People are just saying, we want to be free. We want to be free of these chemicals. We want to be free of the oppression. We want to be free of people trying to tell us what to do with our hair. Like, for heaven's sake, I mean, relaxing our hair. We all know what these chemicals do to our hair anyway. We all know what they do to our body, but yet we still choose to use them anyway. And like I said, fair enough, that's right, you can do what you choose to do with your hair, but not everybody agrees with that. Some people say, you know what, I'm not going to use these chemicals in my hair at all. Though there is some sort of debate about whether dyeing your hair means you're natural or not. I mean, my hair is slightly dyed, so does that mean I'm no longer natural? Even though it's not changed the texture of my hair at all. It's just sitting right on top of my hair because my hair's low porosity and it wants to be a bitch at the moment. So, you know, it's just sitting there, not doing anything. It's just sitting at the top of my hair. It's not doing anything because my hair is so low porosity. It's like literally on top. It won't change the colour. So, but you know what, I don't care because it's my hair at the end of the day. And if some people say that when you dye your hair you're no longer natural, you have your right to say that, but I also have the right to disagree. So yeah, like I said, it's not changed the texture of my hair. My hair is still the same way it was. I just have to trim my hair a bit more often, but that's fine. I don't mind doing that. Anyway, as I was saying, the impact that white supremacy is having is enormous. It's in everything. Now it's like you can't even talk about racism without people trying to tell you that you're just making a big fuss about nothing. And to be honest, there are some things that do get talked on and I'm like, that's not even racism, so just let it go. But this whole issue where you can live in a country like the Bahamas, which even though I think it's just outside of America, but it's classed as a Caribbean country. And the simple fact that in a Caribbean country these things are happening shows that there's a lot of work to be done. We need, especially in those countries, we need to get it out there that it is okay to love your natural hair, and that it's not okay for your employers to try and come tell you that you are not allowed to stay at work until you change your hair. I mean, you hear these things happening all the time in the UK and in America. I mean, for God's sake, when was it? In America, they now have this new law where it says that employers can discriminate against you if you have dreadlocks. Basically, they can tell you, we are not going to hire you if you have dreadlocks in your hair. Now, considering the fact that the majority of America's population that has dreadlocks are black people, you know who they was aiming at. You just know. You know who they was aiming at, so you don't need to question it. You don't even need to question it. And this is why I'm one of the people who are very passionate about cultural appropriation, because it's not the fact that white people are doing their hair in the same hairstyles that we do. It's the simple fact they don't have to deal with the consequences afterwards. We rock our hair in dreadlocks. We are more likely to be fired from our job from doing it, told we can't have a job from wearing a hair like that. So when people say that cultural appropriation is not actually a problem, it is. We don't care. Put your hair in faux locks, or put your hair in dreadlocks, or put your hair in box braids. I don't give a shit, yeah. But just understand that you can do that and you won't come up against the same problems that we do. Because even box braids, for heaven's sake, even box braids. I mean, here in the UK, I think it was last year or the year before, a black woman was told she could not have a job unless she took her box braids out. And the reason, I think she had her hair was natural, And box braids is a very good protective hairstyle, providing it's not done too tight around your edges and in the crown of your head. It's a very good perimeter, it's a very good protective hairstyle. And I'm like, for God's sake, like, what would it take? What would it take for people to just, like, leave us alone and let us do what we want to do with our hair at the end of the day? I mean, like, how long is it going to last, really? How long is it going to last? I mean, you get tired of the nonsense over and over and over and over again. The same discrimination, the same discrimination, the same oppression, the same bullshit all day, every day. We get fed this all the time, and it's so hard. And it's so hard because we're trying to rise, and it's like there is someone saying, you ain't rising anyway, we're going to keep you down here. And then you try and rise again, and then that same block is down there. And this is what I'm trying to say. This is white supremacy. Every time we try and rise, they bring us back down. They bring us back down to what they think is our level. We can't rise above them anyway. We have to stay in our place. We have to stay in our lane. We can't complain. As a black woman, you can't complain about your natural hair. You can't complain about your natural hair. Someone saying negative things about your natural hair, because then you get seen as aggressive. You get seen as aggressive even though you're only being assertive and getting your point across that I don't agree with what you're saying about my natural hair. I think there's nothing wrong with my natural hair. My natural hair is beautiful in its simplicity. Yeah, there was nothing. If I choose to go to work with an afro, that is my decision. I've done it before plenty of times. I've worn afros to work, flat twists, bantu knots, trying to think now, cornrows, everything I've worn to work. And I don't care what people think. It's funny though, because when I was working full-time a couple of years ago, I had some bullshit with some black women at work who kept telling me about how I should change my hairstyle. Like, instead of leaving my hair in an afro, I should just do it in 2 plaits back. And I'm like, you're black, you're telling me this? Are you fucking crazy? This is the thing, the damage that is being done to black people, that we now be negative towards one another. Instead of sticking together, it's like, she's not the same as me because her hair does not look the same as me, basically, is what it is anyway. My hair is presentable because I got my weave and wig on, but your hair is in an afro. Why you can't just plait your hair up? Wasn't that more acceptable? You know you would look better with your hair plaited up anyway. And it's all that kind of shit. And they don't actually realise that's actually kind of bullying behaviour. It is. And then these same people the next day will smile up in your face and act like they didn't say some shit to you. And it's like, it's hard enough dealing with microaggressions from your freaking white counterparts at work, your white colleagues or whatever, and having to deal with it from your fellow black people as well. So this is what I'm saying. Even in the UK, even here in the UK, you're dealing with that same shit from other black people as well. So then in the Bahamas, it's just like, I've never heard of this before happening in the Caribbean. Maybe I need to do some more research on it. Maybe I need to do some research when I've got some free time, when I'm not doing my uni assignments. But yeah, it's freaking ridiculous. I mean, more power to this girl anyway. More power to this girl anyway. Don't let anyone steal your shine, and don't let anyone steal your joy at the end of the day. If you want to rock your natural hair, you don't need to really put no relaxer in it. If you don't want to put no relaxer in your hair, if you want to rock your hair in a puff or whatever, if you want to rock your hair in a puff or whatever, or however you choose to do your hair. But yeah, like me, if it was me and my employer was telling me that, I would not be coming back. I know it sounds kind of bad. People are like, well, what's more important, money or your hair? At the end of the day, my self-worth is more important to me than earning money. So there you go. Peace.